Here is the raw material as the slabs of slate come in. You can see the different pieces. So these come, what we saw at that manufacturer or at the quarry was they pulled these the big pieces. You saw those chunks in that tractor. They pull that out of the ground. They fabricate them, get them into slabs, and they use them for different things, for houses usually, for slate, for the siding or for the roof. It's very strong, very dense slate material. And then they have a special fabrication area where they fabricate these plates here to spec for Fischer&Fischer, and they come in a raw form like this. So here is a very important machine. This cuts the holes, okay, that you can see. You can see the cutouts from the slabs. So they'll take a slab, like let's say this for instance, you know, and then they will lay it up here. And then this machine goes, it's very high torque. As you can tell, anybody who's a machinist can tell how serious this freaking drill press is really what it is. This goes at low speed but extremely high torque. Evidently with slate, if you drill at too high a speed, a hole, you will actually heat it to a point where it self-combusts and the dust ignites and a flame pops out and it ruins the tooling. And could very well, after several times, ruin the machine. So it must be done very carefully. They do it, as you can see, there's a center line because they drill from two sides. So they have to flip it over, and take that center piece out to get our holes. Which, okay, so we've got the plate over here, and as you can see, there's a crane. This is a pretty heavy-duty crane, cherry picker, lift, whatever you want to call it, which can grab and reach and pull the material from the scissor lift, which is right here, which will lift things up and down. We've got a vacuum for the dust because they do the polishing on this table. You can see the grinders, the die grinders, which are used to polish the material. And here's an example. These are actually some of the pieces from my 1000.1s that I will have shortly. And you can see how the corners are cut. They cut the corners and the edges on this machine over here, which was a custom machine designed by Thomas. This is a diamond cutting blade right here. And then this drawer rolls right along and it cuts a bevel into that granite. They're on holiday right now because I happened to come at the perfect time when they were on holiday, so we don't get to see these machines running and cutting and the guys actually working. But this room has staff that's in here working each day and cutting and beveling and gluing these pieces together. You can kind of see some of the adhesive in here that holds these together. It is quite an operation to get these put together.
First they cut
this is the jig,
the opening,
yep,
and
the jig for drilling the mounting.
Yeah, and this is all the drilling
holes.
points for the screwing.
So we've got to do these one at a time using slow speed drill press to go ahead and get all these, which we put a helicoil, it looks like, inside. You know, I mean, there is a lot of work that goes into this. Right here is a completely level table. Some of you folks could probably tell by looking at this, the fact that it's concrete into the ground. This is something that is constructed that is perfectly level, perfectly plumb surface so that you can lay the pieces of granite on top of there, and then you bring this big machine which polishes the surface to give a nice clean edge, because as it comes, it's not polished enough from the quarry, and they need to get a nice, beautiful, polished finish like this in order to do the joinery, because you can't join something that is rough. It needs to be joined perfectly polished. So the front baffle is polished, and then every inside and every edge is perfectly polished. All of that is done here by hand on this table with this big old machine right here. So I wish we had Gunther here so we could show you all the work that goes into it, but you can imagine this is a lot of work. That's why when I'm sitting here talking to you guys about how ridiculous a monitor that's $4,500 is, the amount of work, you saw where it comes out of the earth, the amount of manpower that goes into bringing you that speaker is ridiculous. Okay, anything you buy that's like, and I'm going to use it again, Chinese made, that stuff's made in 10 minutes. You get the stuff out of the factory, it's done 1 million at a time of these plastic materials or MDF materials, and bam, it's cut in a second with a CNC that's hyper fast, and then it gets put together and you've got a pair of speakers made in 10 minutes. This is nowhere near that type of manufacturing, and hopefully through this video you can see what I'm trying to point out, which is how handcrafted these speakers are, and the fact that I feel we're fortunate that a company does something like this, that a company even cares enough to do that for audiophiles. We are so unimportant in the world of marketing in terms of people you can market to, sectors you can market to. To choose audiophiles as a sector to market to, the people really have to have heart, because we are a small market. And to go into the earth and pull stuff out like that and create this all by hand, all these steps, all these painstaking, slow, must be perfectly level, must be perfect amount of pressure so you don't break it, must be perfect speed so you don't overheat it, and to get it so that it's not chipped by the time it's finished and it's not broken. I mean, the amount of care is staggering. And that's kind of what I'm trying to point out with this video and showing you this brand. I knew I had to come here and show you how these were created, because it goes over most people's heads. You just go, oh, Slate speaker. You don't really let it soak in how important that is and how much goes into it. So hopefully you can see that here. We get over to the final production area where you can see this table is actually on a scissor lift. And so with this control, you can raise or lower this workspace. And here you see the mounting plate, which is the aluminum mounting plate. You can see on the 270, which is an inexpensive speaker, look at the motor structure on that driver. You just don't see that in normal. Normal would be half that magnet. This is a hell of a driver. You can see the, cone technology. It's a beautiful piece. Very robustly made. We can come over here. We see the tweeters, nice soft dome tweeters. This is a protective piece on there. Look at the custom mounting aluminum pieces to custom mount these into the granite. All of this is very, very nice. And you can see how beautiful this factory is. Very, very beautiful and very clean and very orderly. And so this is very, very well put together. I mean, everything about this brand has a lot of heart. And look at the little Kleins. Look at these little puppies. They're so cute. I mean, you can see, you saw me, I had these at home, and how cute they are. Again, massive motor structure on their drivers. So there's in here some of the work for the stands. These are some of the stand and some of the custom aluminum outriggers that go on the bottom. Here is what these a fresh cut plate is like. So it's very, very, very high quality manufacturing here. Here is something very impressive to me. These are the crossovers. This gives you an example of the level of Fischer&Fischer crossover. Because these are always, crossovers are always sort of the hidden part in the speaker. You really don't get to see that. So in many ways, cheaper speakers will get away with cheap quality parts in the crossover because they can hide it in the box, right? You don't see it. But if we were to open the Fischer&Fischers, here is what we would see. We would see Mundorf foil inductors. These are not, wire wound. These are actual foil wound inductors. Very high quality. We have metallized polypropylene, I presume MKT, right? Metallized polypropylene. Foil, it's film, and film caps, okay? Not electrolytic caps. That's the main part. Here is for the mid portion. These are actually for my speakers, you guys, that are coming. And then here's for the delicate, the mids, and the highs. Look at what they use. I mean, first of all, look at these power resistors. These will last a lifetime. Most will be, you see the ceramic ones that are the white, cheap ceramic ones? That's not even used anywhere near any of these capacitors or any of these crossovers. You don't see the cheap ceramic resistors. You see serious power resistors. This is an MCAP Evo silver, gold, and oil. Okay, do you know who uses this in their crossover, 180 UF? Why don't you go, just type that into Google. Mundorf MCAP Evo silver, gold, oil, 180 UF, 250 volt, and see how much this part is. You'll realize to what level, what a high level these crossovers are built to. So there is no expense spared in making the very best. This is what I'm telling you about when I say I'm bringing you something with high value. There's no, I mean, we're going inside the speaker. They're not trying to hide anything. We're here at the factory. They're like, go ahead, film anything you want. Film the cutting machines, film the glue, the way we put it together, film the crossovers. They're not trying to hide a thing from us, which is typically what you might see in many factories. They wouldn't want, oh, don't show that, don't show that, don't show the drivers, don't show, because you'd see cheap Chinese drivers, or you'd see cheap crossovers with ceramic resistors and electrolytic caps, just junky stuff. This is high level design. Even on these caps, these crossovers here, the cladding of the copper is nearly 1 millimeter thick on this copper cladding. So it is really a serious high-level, high-quality design. These are the products that I love to bring to you guys, and so this is no different. You can see over here, this is in partial. These are the 1000.1s that are coming to me. You guys will love to hear these. They're still being completed. They have to finish their doing the sealer and doing all the stuff that they do on to mount the drivers. These are going to be the subs. So there's two on each side. We have subs pointing one on top of each other where they will couple for amazing bass response. Here are the top. These are one of the woofers that are in this that goes on the top. And the other parts we just saw in the rest of the factory, those pieces that we saw out here. So anyways, that is a great example of this product. Here's another interesting item that is here. These are 30-year-old speakers from Fischer&Fischer. They were made 30 years ago, and even 30 years ago, Fischer&Fischer was doing active speakers, which is like what everybody is like the new thing now, right? They were doing them 30 years ago. These things are still functioning in the field, no problem. The reason these are back is because the owner dropped them on the ground, in the driveway or whatever, and they chipped the corners. Fischer&Fischer will now repair these. They still do that after all these years. They will make repairs to this, refinish them, make them perfect, and the amplifiers are still in perfect working order, which is it tells you again the level of care and the level of integrity that this brand has in the products that they manufacture. To have 30-year-old active monitors that are still functioning great, that's quite a testament to the design prowess of this company. And as you know, what I like to do is I like to sneak up on the products in the middle of manufacture, or when I can at shows, to try and look at the little things. Remember how I teach you about looking at the little details to give you a little idea of the philosophy or how the manufacturer thinks? Well, here we are on the back of SN70 speakers. These are the small monitors that I told you about. And we go in, and what do we see? But we see 6 millimeter, 10 gauge, high-speed precision power cable made in Germany. So even the wire, look at the heat shrink, done very well on the end. We can look at the solder joints. They're done very serious. It's a heavy-duty build. It's not cheap, right? Unlike other companies, you, again, open your speaker up, look at the wire. Is it like this? Okay? The wires, this just shows, again, the integrity of the brand, the integrity of the build, right down to the wires that they use to go to the driver are 10 gauge, made in Germany, audio cable, not just zip cord, not phone wire, not just crap. So Again, very interesting. And these are all the custom plates for the inputs. You know, beautiful, beautiful build. Even down to the very little teeny ones. And Michael just showed me the first pair ever of these carbon composite drivers that will be the subwoofers. This is a brand new driver that they're using. This will be a fantastic piece. Let's look at the motor structure. Wow. Unbelievable. Okay, so here is to show the resilience of this slate finish. We just took a screwdriver. We made a scratch right down the side of this brand new speaker. And now we are going to show you how it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Because we're going to fix it real time. So check it out. Hold on. And here we go. Here's how we fix it. Just like that. Kaboom. Just like that. Sealer. And what do you, is it a wax? Is that what you called it?
That's a wax.
It's a wax. But it's a liquid. So it is, and look at that. Beautiful. Can't even tell that it was done. How's that for repair? Easy. And here's what it looks like when we treat natural. This is what it like natural untreated before. And then this is the sealer that goes on at the factory. As you can see, now we'll watch this again. Wow, those are some serious VOCs coming off that stuff. Yep, look at that. So it gets nice and sealed. Gives it a little luster. And these were the ones you just saw them, they pulled out of the, I don't know if I'll put the video up, but they gave this to the women when we went to the slate mine. They got some hearts from the guys that were cutting the tiles. They were making shingles. Yep, and then there's how when it dries. Oops, when it dries, you can see. I want to show you a simple demonstration about the damping properties of slate. We're going to take a very small little music box, and I know it has wood on the bottom, that's okay, but it still is going to transmit some vibration, right? And we're going to see, we're going to put it right on top of this speaker here, and we will. Okay, now we will walk over here, and we will put it on MDF. Okay, so here is MDF. Okay, can you hear how much the resonance makes this louder? Okay, so it's vibrating. If I put my finger over here, I hold this with my thumb, I can feel the vibration over here from this. So it goes to show you the difference in how you hear cabinet colorations. This is a cabinet coloration that we're hearing. That's why it's like this, because it's the cabinet making the noise vibrating along with this in a sympathetic way. So there you go. Ready?
Inflame.
Okay, so I want to show you something here because there may have been some question by at least one joker, you know who you are, about the resilience of the slate that are being used in the Fischer&Fischer speakers. Here is a 3-pound sledge, a real sledge, not a gummy sledge, right? This is the real deal. Now look at this. Here is the cutout. This is the cutout from the speaker. This thing came out. Take a nice fresh side, okay? And this is, look. Is that thing breaking? No, we could take sealer, we could put more sealer right on there. As you saw, it would clean it up. But are you going to do this in your home? Are you going to? It doesn't chip. Okay, so this is strong enough to be on the roof of your house or on the side of your house and protect it for hundreds of years, okay? So this is extremely solid, dense material. It's not cheap-ass Home Depot flooring, okay? It's the real deal. So that goes to show you that you have nothing to worry about Fischer&Fischer speakers chipping, breaking, whatever. It's extremely resilient material. See you.